What's up, folks? What's going on? This is CEO of MF Seasons and Sauces. And if you're not doing nothing on Sundays at 6 p.m., you gotta check out The Man Cave. I approve this message, and I'm on my way. Check them out every Sunday, 6 p.m. The Man Cave. Yeah.
The Bible says, a false balance is an abomination unto the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. It's the same way with our bodies. Most of the time our bodies get ill or show signs of weakness because we're not balancing them with correct nutrition and exercise. Our first thought is to treat our bodies medically. Today's guest, board-certified doctor of natural health, Rhonda J. Smith, will help us find out the reasons why our body's deficiencies show up as illness and what we can do about it naturally. With a wealth of information under her belt, Rhonda's also going to dispel many of the myths of current diet and health trends.
Hi, this is Rhonda J. Smith, and today I want to talk about intermittent fasting. This week we are talking about the keto diet, but alkaline water, and why you may or may not drink that.
As the owner of Soul Delights LLC, a company that helps you attain and maintain your health naturally, Rhonda can help you locate the source of a physical issue and treat it. Please welcome to the Man Cave, holistic health practitioner, Rhonda J. Smith. Miss Rhonda J.
Hey, how you doing, Aaron? Thanks for having me. I'm laughing because you got that clap track on, and I'm like, I need to join that clap track to thank you. That was an awesome introduction.
Oh man,
I feel like somebody.
You know, we go back like cigarette lighters and a deuce and a quarter, man. We go back, and it's I got nothing but love and respect for what you do. You and your husband have been just doing some tremendous things, and I'm honored that you would like to come on my platform to share your information. So, welcome to the Man Cave.
Yes, thank you for having me. You've been one of my biggest supporters from the beginning, and I just had to put a plug in. You all saw my logo. Aaron designed that for me. So
really,
years ago. You said you really?
You mean that logo?
That logo right there. That's your design.
And and the thing about it is, it's just such a full circle moment, because I remember doing this, and I remember thinking, when I think of Rhonda, what do I think? I think like Africana things, and I think pure freshness, and I think wholesomeness. So when I was designing it, I was like, she's talking about healthy eating, so I had to put a bowl there, and then I made it like some smoke come out, but the smoke had to say S&D for Soul Delights.
Very creative, but that's who you are.
Yeah,
master graphic designer for years. Yep.
Okay, so Rhonda, not only did you come on here not knowing the color scheme, but we just matching today, and then you brought the matching.
That's how the Holy Ghost does things, right? He is real.
Yeah. So welcome to the show, ma'am. You are a holistic medical practitioner, or what's the middle
holistic
health
practitioner. Yes.
So for a lot of my guests that come on, can you define that for them? Holistic.
Yes.
Okay.
So holistic looks at your entire being, body, soul, and spirit. Mm-hmm. And I look at it as a health practitioner from a natural point of view. So I'm looking at all the areas of your body because they all affect the other parts. So we don't want
Yeah.
to just look at symptoms or what's happening in your physical part. We want to see how your emotions may play into that. That's a part
Mhm.
that's what's housing your soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions. So
Mhm.
we're looking at that as well. And then also your spirit, because whatever connection that you have to the spiritual world affects your body as well.
Okay. Okay. And now when we first met, we met when Honeys was wearing Sassoons, and you were in school for journalism like me, but then you
Yes.
took a turn to be a doctor of natural health. How did this all begin for you?
Well, trying to figure out what was going on in my body and not getting the help that I needed. I
Mm-hmm.
had chronic acne, chronic arthritis, and the biggest of the three was chronic yeast infections. And
Hmm.
so I would continue to go to my doctor, and my doctor would continue to give me antibiotics, but I would continue to get yeast infections.
Hmm.
And so I had to do research on my own because, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Guys have it too. Jock itch is a yeast infection for
Oh, is it?
guys. Some
Okay.
people don't know that. Your athlete's feet is a
Hmm.
yeast infection as well.
Okay.
But anyway, I found out that the antibiotics was doing away with the good and bad bacteria in my body. And so I
Hmm.
had nothing in my body to fight off
Hmm.
the bad yeast. And so it just had an overflow of it. So when I
Yeah.
recognized I can balance out my pH in my vaginal area,
Hmm.
in my reproductive system through food. So that's what I
Really?
did. So that's what really got me into this area, because when I did research on that, I found a host of other things for other issues, and it just
Hmm.
intrigued me.
Wow. So what did you begin to do? I mean, I know it was you took the healthy route, but what did you begin to do, and how did you start to see it balance your
Well,
health balance?
it was dietary. So I
Mhm.
turned on, and I hardly ever watched this program on Christian television, but I saw this doctor on there, a medical doctor, who had these books called The Bible Cure For.
Mhm.
And so one of them was a Bible cure for yeast infections. And
Mhm.
it talked about a lot of foods to eat, and the foods that actually harm your body and exacerbate yeast in the body. So I
Mhm.
followed that plan for 3 weeks. It had to do with whole foods, mostly fruits and vegetables, organic, and there were certain foods that helped to bring back the good bacteria in your body, probiotic foods,
Mhm.
non-sugary probiotic foods. Sometimes people try to get probiotics with yogurt, but a lot of times yogurt has a lot of sugar, and again, sugar exacerbates yeast. So
Mhm.
got a lot. Vinegar exacerbates yeast, nitrates and nitrites, and smoked meats. So none of
Mhm.
processed meats. So it's a lot of things that I had to eliminate, but it caused me to learn how to cook differently and
Yeah.
better, where food will still be tasty to me. I wasn't going to try to deprive myself, but
Mhm.
I made a switch, and I
Mhm.
saw a difference in my body because of that.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. And so I happened to see you on Fox 2. Yeah.
Yay!
Saw you on Fox 2, and I said, "That's my little sister." And so
Yeah.
one of the things that they asked you on Fox 2 made you say something that made me say, "Well, what's that?" And you
Okay.
said you have to make sure know if your body is functioning foundationally. What does that mean?
Yes. So there are basic things that a lot of us don't do, and those are the foundations.
Mhm.
It's the type of food that you're taking in, whole foods. I one I guess it's a mantra. I am a certified culinary community, what is it called? Culinary community educator. That's it.
Mhm.
Culinary community educator through
Mhm.
Whole Cities Foundation. And that's a
Mhm.
foundation for Whole Foods.
Mhm.
And one of their mantras is Whole Foods Plant Strong. And I
Mhm.
like that because they're saying use whole foods, the original form of the food, right? So
Mhm.
as opposed to beef jerky, you're going to eat beef, right? As opposed to applesauce, you eat apples. So
Yeah,
that's a whole food concept.
gotcha.
And plants, mostly plants, right? So
Mhm.
looking at nutrition, that's the foundation. The water that you drink, not just the amount, but the quality of the water. What
Mhm.
is your sleep hygiene like? So what type of sleep? How are you managing stress? What
Mhm.
is your elimination like from your body? And not just your bowels or your urinary tract, but there are 5 major eliminative organs: your lung, your lymphatic system, and also your skin. So you're looking at those areas as well, because you need waste to be rid in your body so that food and other nutrients can actually be absorbed into the body, right? And assimilated so that your body can take in the nutrients, right?
Yeah.
You can be healthy. And so we in movement as well. So what type of exercise are you getting? So these are the foundational things. Sometimes we neglect them. How many times do you hear people say, oh, I hardly drink water. But then you're wondering why you have brain fog, or you may be you may start even hallucinating, right? You have headaches, but you may not be doing the foundational things. So that's what I say. You have to lay a strong foundation, because if you try to go and do other types of diets or even take some herbs, those herbs are not going to be able to be digested in your body. Then not just digested, but absorbed and then assimilated, going throughout your body, throughout your cells, reaching organs, so that you can be healthy. So if those things aren't intact, then nothing else is going to work. It won't stick if you try to throw other things at it. So that's what I do when people come to me. First and foremost, sometimes they want to have an herb to replace a medicine that they're taking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Let's see what you're doing. Some of the basic things that you should be doing to help your body be strong foundationally. And those are the things that I'm talking about.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about this water thing for a few minutes. You said the quality of water.
Yes.
What are the qualities of water? Because I go to your site and I saw that you were talking about not everybody benefits from high pH water.
Right.
And so can you explain that, and then, kind of give some light on why is that not good for certain people, and why is it good for certain people?
Okay, yes. So high pH water, most known as alkaline water, like that's the popular name, is alkaline water, is because you could be too alkaline in your body. So your body needs to be a balance between acidity and alkalinity, right? And on either end, it's basic chemistry in your body. And it has to do with the amount of electricity that's flowing in your body, right? If you have too much acid, it's too much electricity, things are going too fast. So your body, with food, if your body's too acidic, your body's not going to be able to absorb the nutrients. They may be coming in, but they're going to go have a fast transit, right? Through your digestive system and really out your body, so you won't be able to absorb it. With alkalinity, you can be too alkaline, and that's the opposite end, right? Things tend to slow down. You don't have enough electricity. So you can find yourself constipated, lethargic. Those are the types. You may have headaches because you have toxins stuck in your body, in your gut. You may find yourself, and you think it's normal for you, eliminating from your bowels a couple of times a week or every other day, when ideally you should be going after every meal. So
really,
yes,
really, after every meal, I would never go outside.
So it may not be immediate, but if you eat 3 times a day, you should be pooping 3 times a day, right?
Are you serious?
I'm serious. So there are many of us are full of toxins. We're full of stuff, right? And it's become putrid in our bodies, right? It stinks. And so a lot of times we can be too alkaline, and constipation is a part of that. So again, some people can use alkaline water, and it's fine for them, because most Americans tend to be too acidic. So we do need a little bit alkalinity, but you can overdo it. That's what I'm saying. Right.
So what is a safe alkaline level? What is a safe pH level?
Well, digestive pH, and that's what I'm speaking of, in your digestive system. So each part of your body has different numbers. So like your blood pH should be anywhere between 7.35 and 7.45. But I'm talking about your digestion. So digestion starts in the mouth. It goes all the way down to the end of your esophagus. That's the upper digestion. And then the lower digestion is the end of the esophagus through the anus. And so that number should be 6.4. So there are pH balance strips that people can test their saliva and urine to see where they are with that. So but that's a part of the testing. That's the part of the testing that I do. One of the major parts of the 7-part test that I do when I test saliva and urine when clients come into my office, so I can see where they may have imbalances between acidity and alkalinity. Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, you just hit me with so much stuff that I haven't even thought about. Like, I didn't even know that you could measure the pH level in your body. Never even knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, we got a question. Miss EW. Miss EW says, "Hi, so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Can you please provide information on natural ways to get probiotics and supplements?"
Yes, I can. So, a lot of fermented foods are good for probiotics.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mentioned yogurt. That's for me not the best way because a lot of yogurts tend to have sugars in them. And
Mm-hmm.
then a lot of people are lactose intolerant. So, with the dairy. But then you have kimchi, there is kombucha. So, again, different foods that um, you can have sauerkraut. That's a way to get probiotics. And then a whole food supplement that would be a probiotic. And a whole food supplement is actually made with foods, right?
Mm-hmm.
That will give you the different bacteria that you need, the probiotics. Mm-hmm.
Is there something written down like decisively that you can go to? Like somebody can like a novice can go and say, "I'm taking this pill and it's supposed to do this. What food can I go over here and buy and it do this practically the same thing?"
You know what? There may be out there, particularly with AI,
Mm-hmm.
even the National Institute of Health
Mm-hmm.
actually has a lot of herbs on there, but I
Oh.
don't know if they do that one-on-one. But that's something that I do with my clients
Mm-hmm.
in terms of not necessarily saying, oh, I have this, what can I do naturally? Because I don't swap anything out. If you're on medicine, your medical doctor needs to take you off medicines. I don't take people off medicines,
Right.
right? So I don't do that. It's not my purview.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will do foods that will support your body. So,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, as a natural painkiller, which is the basis of aspirin, is willow bark, white willow bark, right? They
Mm-hmm.
use the leaves and sometimes the bark. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the main herbs that's used to make medicine,
Mm.
aspirin, the pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
But it starts with an herb, so it's a painkiller. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I got so many directions I can go from here, but one of the things I want to do is ask you about something we talked about off air. And you
Okay.
said you should eat according to your blood type. And we talked about that for a minute, but how do you, okay, you can find out your blood type, but how do you find out what to eat to match your own blood type?
Well, I recommend to people, there's a book out called Eat Right for Your Blood Type.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found it very helpful for me and a lot of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a naturopathic doctor who pulled this book together some years ago. He tracked, actually, he built upon the research that his dad had done. His dad was having retreats and was trying to figure out, why aren't people losing weight? They're eating the same thing. They're doing the same thing. What's different about these people? So that's what made him actually search out blood types. And he started seeing patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people with certain blood types, certain foods didn't do well with them and certain other ones didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, there's still evolving research, but the book is like 20 plus years old. It's still out there. Many people find it effective. Some people find it controversial.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not, I don't advocate it for everybody, saying this is going to work for everybody, but it's an area to explore, particularly if you found yourself at a crossroads with a particular area. Something may not be working for you and your body, be it weight loss or bloating, gas,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. So I find it to be very accurate in many instances. I follow it because it works well for me.
Okay. And
Mhm.
so, but people can also contact you on your website, and they can get the information that we're talking about, but they also can have it honed down to their specific need. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Because again, I don't just give general recommendations. So you come to me and say, "Oh, I have arthritis," and I just say, "Oh, well, take this herb for that. No, I'm not going to do that. I am going to test your urine, test your saliva, and I'm looking at 7 areas in your body: your salt levels, your sugar levels, your urea. That's how your body is processing protein in your kidneys, in your liver. I'm also looking at your digestive pH, and I'm looking at your cellular waste. So all these numbers give me indication of what's going on in your body. I also do physical observations. So your face, your tongue, your nails, your eyes all mirror the inside of your body, different parts of your body. And so that gives me indication where there are imbalances as well. So I'm looking for patterns of 3. If your tongue, your eyes, and your nails are all telling me that you need heart support, those are the areas that we're going to focus in on first. And then I'll look at your blood type, because remember, I'm going to start with the foundations of health. These are the foods that work with the cardiovascular system. Oh, this is your blood type. These are the ones that may be most optimal because of your blood type, right? So even though there may be certain foods that I would suggest for that, but I'm going to narrow it down again according to your blood type, and we're going to explore those first.
You said something interesting. How can your, or let's just say your nails, your eyes, your tongue, how can those things tell you that something's wrong on the inside? I mean, discoloration, or how does it?
Yeah, so different colors and different markings on your body. For instance, on your nails, some people have vertical lines on their nails.
Yeah.
One time, you remember even the marks you had on your nails, and you showed me before?
Yes.
And that indicates some type of trauma that was happening in your life. So once you heal, that will grow out. Those are called Bowes lines. So again, a lot of these observations are traditional Chinese medicine. So these are aspects of that. Again, long time, ancient way of looking at people's bodies that's been proven over centuries. So that's just how God designed our bodies. There are different markings that correlate with the insides of your body. So
wow. Yep. And I remember you looking. It's so good that you remember that, because I did have it, and they are gone, because at the time I was married and she had kids, and I had to pick them up, and once I body slammed, and all those lines went away.
Oh my goodness. I'm not co-signing that. Wow. But I know it was some trauma going on.
I should have body slammed him okay. So let me throw some things out there. And maybe you can just kind of let's just say someone comes to you with diabetes, and they don't know it's diabetes. They're urinating a lot or whatever, and they just say, "Hey, Dr. Smith, I don't know what the deal is, but I just find myself using the bathroom. Every time I finish using the bathroom, I got to use the bathroom." How would you intake this person? I mean, and not that given any specific stuff, but what goes through your mind to try to get to the source?
Well, first of all, I would say in my mind, that's probably a blood sugar imbalance. Because again, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose. I don't treat people.
Okay.
So, but just because of the symptoms, those are classic symptoms, as we know, for people who have blood sugar imbalances. I would say you need to go see your primary care physician to get diagnosed with what may be going on with you.
Okay.
Right. So I can support. It seems like the bladder. It seems like blood sugar imbalances. But I would test. I could do what's called muscle response testing to see if the bladder would need support, to see if there are blood sugar imbalances. That's again a biofeedback test that I can touch your muscles, and it gives me an indication if you have some weaknesses in a particular area or not. And so then I'll be able to make some recommendations, starting with the foundations of health first, right? And we'll look at that first and foremost. Chromium is something that helps to balance the blood sugar. So we'll look at that. We'll look at how to get it from foods before even looking at supplements, right? Okay. So yeah, but definitely go see your primary care physician, because when people come to me, they'll fill out an intake form, and it's exhaustive. It's about 3 pages long, where I get your medical history, I get your sleep hygiene, I get your exercise history. What does your bowel elimination look like? So I'm looking at all of these areas. What types of things have you been diagnosed with? Have you had any surgeries? What medicines do you take? What supplements do you take? all these things, because a lot of times people think, oh, it's natural. I'm going to go to a natural health doctor and they're going to help me. But there are things that can be contraindications naturally. So I look at all of these before I make any recommendations. I'm not going to recommend you something, for instance, if you're on blood thinners and then you need some iron. I'm not going to say, oh, do a lot of leafy green vegetables because they have a lot of vitamin K in it, and vitamin K thins the blood, and then but you're on blood thinner, so we don't want to thin your blood more. So I wouldn't recommend that, right? So that's an example of that.
Oh, okay. All right. So so the a lot of the things that people have been messaging me to ask you is a lot about the health trends, and I've seen you on your website talk about the health trends, how they got good things and they got bad things. And you have already addressed the alkaline water. But what about stuff like the keto diet? Some people say it works for them, some people say it doesn't. What are the pros and cons of that?
Well, it deprives your body of carbs so that you go into your fat stores, right? So that's how people lose weight. Okay. But if you are in a ketosis state for too long, that can be dangerous because you end up falling out, right? Your body is taking the fat, but your body does need sugar. That's one of the components that the body needs for energy. So if you stay in ketosis for too long, it can be dangerous for you. So that's one of the things that you just have to know that balance. And a lot of times when people are in there, they don't know that balance. They find themselves tired. They may be thin, but they may not be healthy because, again, they lack the energy. Again, they may fall out. You'll see that their face looks emaciated because they don't have carbs coming in and the body is taking the fat stores. So they look hollowed in. So sometimes some people, it's not a real good look. And it's not healthy. So it can be dangerous. So you definitely need to work with someone who knows what they're doing to keep you on that. And really the recommendation is that if you're doing that plan 3 weeks on, you need to give yourself a break and then go back on. But don't just continue to do it straight because, again, it can be dangerous.
Okay. Wow. What about intermediate fasting?
Intermittent fasting. Yes, intermittent fasting.
Is that what's the pro and con of that?
I think it's wonderful. I do, because your body needs a break. And a lot of times we don't give our bodies the break that it needs. So we naturally fast when we go to sleep, right? When we wake up, the first meal of the day is breakfast, right? We are breaking the fast. That's what the word comes from, breaking the fast. Some people who are intermittent fasting, they just do it longer to help the body to cleanse and to modulate where it only expects a certain amount of food. And so people end up losing weight that way, but you have to find the balance for you. Some people can go 12 hours and they have to eat. Some people can go 16. Again, everybody's body is different. So they have to find that balance. And I think sometimes people may end up doing it and the body can't, this is a con. The body can get used to only eating one meal a day, and then it may think it's starving itself. So you have to know that balance. And if your body's thinking it's starving itself, it's going to hold on to your reserves. You're not going to be able to, if you're doing it to shed weight. You may find yourself plateauing at some point because your body's like, oh no, I'm holding on to this because you're putting us in starvation mode. You're not doing that.
Right. Well, let me do this. I got to take a commercial break because we got sponsors, right?
All right.
We got sponsors.
All right, big time.
We're going to take one commercial break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about souldelights.com and the specials you got going on. We'll be back right after this. Looking for good homemade cuisine at a reasonable price for your next event? Well, look no further. Hightower Catering. The best caterer in the city is just a dial away. Hightower Catering. Let Chef Hightower and his staff bring good food and good moves to your next social event. Hightower Catering. Hightower Catering has a wide array of cuisine made by his own special seasonings. Hightower Catering does it all. Call Hightower Catering today. Hightower Catering. Good food equals good mood. Hightower Catering. Call Hightower Catering at 313-478-6030. That's 313-478-6030. And find us on Instagram and Facebook. And we're back with Dr. Rhonda Smith, holistic. What is that middle word?
Health. Holistic health practitioner.
Yes. And one of my sisters from way back, and I'm so happy to have her here. And we were talking about how the outside of your body reflects the inside of your body, and she can point out those things. When you come and make an appointment with her at Soul Delights, you have an office and you can do virtual meetings, right?
I can do virtual meetings, so they'll be modified a bit because I won't be able to test your urine if you're virtual. But
okay.
Yes.
Okay. And so how do people contact you when they want to schedule an appointment to see you?
They can go. I have a scheduler on my website. Okay. So they can go to souldelights.com. And sometimes people may have questions, but I really like people to go to the website to do a discovery call. And that call is just what the name suggests. I discover what it is that you're looking for, and you discover what I do, the approach that I take, and then we can determine if we can work together. I'll make a suggestion for what program of mine that I offer, what service I offer, or say, hey, I don't think I'll be able to work with you, and then perhaps refer you on. So discovery call is the way to start, because it indicates, okay, is she offering what I think she may be offering? And then we can go from there. I have you fill out an initial intake form, some basic questions. And during that call, I'll be able to give you a general overview of some of the things that I'm thinking may be going on with you, and then be able to determine which plan or service that you need to, that I would suggest again for you to go on. And then I'll be able to support you. And I'm running a special now with that discovery call. It's typically $30 and it's up to 30 minutes. So again, $1 a minute. We spend that, no big deal.
Right.
But when I was on Fox 2, I offered the viewers there a free discovery call. So I'm running that until next Friday. Well, this Friday for free. So you can go and use the code free call. And I think you have that. You're going to share. Thank you. Free call. So you can reach out to me and see if we can work together.
Oh, okay. Great. So, and see, this is what I am into. I really would like to eat my way to health, because, I'm 30 years old, and it's,
Plus,
but when you get to be like close to like 60, you kind of notice some things that, you running up and down the court and it's like, well, dang, I ain't even made the half court yet. That kind of thing.
Right.
And then, popping of the bones and all of that, you're getting up grunting and all of that. And it's you ain't used to that. And it's starting to be this thing. So I just want to know, because not everybody my age go through that kind of stuff. So I want to know, and that's why I'm like right after we get off, I'm taking advantage of the free call, and I just want to come visit so that I want to see what you would diagnose.
Nope.
I mean, not diagnose, but see what you would help me with.
I know diagnose.
Yeah. But my thing is, I just want to be as fit as I can be at this age. Right.
No, but I will be able to determine if you have some imbalances, if you need some support. Definitely.
Yes, exactly.
So, right. Yes.
So, and
you might need some cartilage support, right? So we'll talk about things you need to do to build that cartilage, right? So because some people think that once it's gone, it's gone. I don't ascribe to that. There's some foods and it's a new area of urology, gemotherapy, and those are baby plants that are really, really strong, and they have a lot of medicinal property when they're young, and they really do help to support the body. So people have had real good results with that. So again, I would test to see if one of those may support you in addition to certain foods, for sure.
Okay. Now I want to do this thing where I help out the sisters who said they was going to check you out.
Okay.
And you were talking off the air about menopause and what brings on the hot flashes and what makes women be tripping on their brothers. And I mean, I just added that part, but
yeah, no, I mean it's true. So your mood can change when because your hormones are imbalanced. I mean, it's a natural state. Women aren't sick. This is just a natural phase of life that we have to go through. But it's the going through that's tough because there hasn't been a lot of research and work done on it. As a matter of fact, Governor Whitmer has put together the Michigan Women's Commission to do these conversations around the state on menopause to help women. I mean, it's a real health issue for women. And they're having a conversation in Ann Arbor, and I'm going to be on that panel talking about it from a natural point of view. So natural perspective, I should say. But a lot of times we don't know, or our doctors don't know that we're in that phase. And so we can be, again, misdiagnosed and thinking that it's just in our head. Sometimes they think we're not old enough, or some of the numbers don't match because you're usually testing estrogen only and progesterone, but there are other areas to test. But some of the things that can bring on hot flashes that a lot of people don't know are white products. So white sugar, white flour, white rice. It's something about those starches that cause you to have high flashes, cause your mood to change. So some of those things, I tell, white bread, okay, a lot of those are highly processed foods, and then they can throw your hormones off. I notice when I eat white rice, I don't get hot flashes badly, but when I start getting a little flush, I'm like, oh yeah, I had some rice, because I've been able to maintain it with my diet and different supplements that I take in as well. There are a host of them. But again, you need to know what may work for your body. So definitely, there are tons of herbs that you can use or try. But again, I will muscle test people to see which one will support them best.
Wow.
And then sometimes it changes. It may work. It worked for you now. Maybe you need to move to something else to see.
Yeah. Well, I would have never thought this the stuff that you were saying that was white would intensify or bring on hot flashes, like white rice, white bread, white people. I mean, it's like
don't be adding stuff into what I said. I know you try to be funny, but come on now.
Just kid. Miss Mona Lisa said, so at what age does it start? I'm assuming she's talking about menopause generally.
Well, it can vary from people, but generally anywhere from 45 to 55 is when it can start. But again, it varies. You have to look at your genetics, family history. But even before 45, it's known you start getting some symptoms. That's the perimenopause. So you start getting symptoms that let you know that you're heading in that direction. So it could be sleeplessness, night sweats, hot flashes, mood swings, weight gain, hair falling out. It's all a host of things that can happen. Some of the videos that you showed earlier, and I had those Bantu knots on the side. I made it look stylish, but that whole side of my hair had fallen out from menopause. Yep, and a lot back here. So even, some of these are a little bit shorter than others because, again, my hair fell out. So then I had to support my body's reproductive system and my integumentary system. That's your hair, your nails, and your skin. And so I needed to, and this worked for me. So I'm telling this with people. It doesn't hurt for anybody to try these things. For me, it was using the protein, because protein helps to support the reproductive system. Healthy fats do that, and lots of water. So those are the three major things that I did, and I'd like to tell people because they support the reproductive system
Wow.
Yeah. Manganese is another mineral that helps to support the reproductive system, not just for women, but men as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And what is that called again?
Manganese.
Manganese.
Yep.
I never heard
It's
that.
a mineral. Yep.
Okay. Okay. You can find that at a health store.
Yes, and
Okay.
it's in a multivitamin, but there are foods that have manganese as well. So,
Oh, really?
so you can Google that and just talk about some foods that have high levels of manganese in them.
Okay.
And add those to your diet.
I have definitely got to write that down. Okay, so EW says, yes, some brothers don't have sympathy for the hot flashes.
Oh, you just ought to, but I understand. Because it's an internal fire, and you see people start sweating. It's real.
Yeah.
It really is real. But I know sometimes the brothers get freezed out,
Yeah.
with the windows and the fans in the middle of the wintertime. We're laughing, but it's a serious thing.
I know.
It can be miserable.
I know.
There's support there for it, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm glad I have all kinds of respect for women going through that and all kinds of patience. Okay, so the other question that I had was about so we talked about the ladies and the menopause and the things that they can come to you to support,
Yes. You know what? Let me add though, because I left hanging earlier something I said. I said, if you're not sure, but you need to be tested and see if you're actually in menopause. I mentioned that a lot of doctors test progesterone and estrogen, but there are two other hormones that can be checked that gives an indication, and your doctor will have that on their list, but they don't routinely check them. It's a follicle stimulating hormone and also the lutein hormone. And those give an indication of your cycle, what's going on with your cycle. So again, sometimes doctors will test the estrogen and progesterone, and those numbers are still within range. That doesn't say that they're in menopause. So they may say, oh, you're fine, but you're not. They need to test those as well. I recommend that. I had my doctor test those as well. And when the numbers came back, she was like, you're right. Those numbers are off the chart. Yes, you're in menopause. I was like, I know I am. I can tell.
Okay. So what about the brothers? The brothers go through our little thing too with prostate health.
Yes.
And it is no joke. I've heard guys talk about, like I was telling you before, I went to a comedy show and this guy was talking about his enlarged prostate. And he says he goes to the bathroom, and as soon as he zips up, he got to use the bathroom again. Or he has to use the bathroom. As soon as he leaves the bathroom, he feels stuff running down his leg. And he's like, and I thought I was done. And it was because of an enlarged prostate.
Right. Oh, yeah. You definitely have to get that checked out. But men go through menopause as well. It's called andropause. Yes, it's called andropause.
What is that? I never heard of that.
That's the counterpart to women going through menopause.
No.
Yes, really? Look it up. It's a deal. It's a thing. It's a real thing.
And so what? We don't hang out in the window in the wintertime and have attitude.
Your symptoms aren't the same, but you do have some. So your testosterone levels drop. That's one of the main things. Really? So a lot of times, yes, your testosterone levels drop, and sometimes your libido changes because of it.
Really?
And you need you need support. So that's why I mentioned manganese is a good reproductive support for men as well. And zinc is a really good. The mineral zinc is good for men to support the reproductive system in men.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, because I never heard of that. Never heard of that. And
andropause.
When you say the testosterone levels drop, what does that entail? I mean, you just said that the libido drops, but does it?
When your libido drops, you may lose muscle mass because the testosterone is what causes the muscles, right? So you might find yourself weak. Have you ever seen like men who start when they get older, they have really skinny legs? So
I ain't looked at the brother's legs.
Well, look at your own. Have your legs gotten more skinny?
No, I've always, ever since ever since you know me, I've been like a big dude, right?
Yeah.
And I ain't really never lost that big dudeness.
Well, again, there's a difference again. So I understand that. But just because you're big doesn't mean you're muscular. And I'm not saying that about you, but I'm just saying in general. So when your testosterone levels drop, one of the indicators is you lose muscle mass. And so you're not as strong, you're more weak. Again, libido changes. You may have what is it? What's the proper term? I want to say the right term.
For
when a man has problems performing in the bedroom.
ED.
Yes, that's it. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And
right.
see, and it's called what again?
What? Andropause? Male menopause. Andropause.
I have to look that up because I have never heard of that. Because when you said testosterone level went down, I'm thinking we go from you better stop to stop. I mean, but I never heard it.
No.
So Charisse James says many of your points resonate with me. First, I'm going to work on building my foundation.
Good, very good. Yes, do that first, because a lot of times, Charisse, and on all the who are viewing, when I start that with my clients, a lot of times we don't even have to go to the next set of issues that they're looking for because things level out.
Yeah.
Just by changing the water, the type of water, and getting those nutrients in, and they don't even have to go. I had one client was having some issues with dryness, in her vaginal area, and we just worked on some other things. She was like, "Oh, I don't need that," even though I had a cream mixture. I was going to tell her to hook up naturally, but we didn't have to go there because she got balanced out just by the building up our foundations.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so let me throw some stuff out to you, and you tell me if you can tell me the stuff that kind of happens that derives that person to that point. Like you said, eating white foods, it exacerbates hot flashes. So when somebody says high blood pressure to you, and it could be situational, it could be stress. I understand that, but chronic high blood pressure, what does that say when someone says that to you? And I'm asking for a friend.
Okay. Well, it could be any number of issues where you have blood pressure issues, right? It could be hereditary. So it could be, it could be hereditary. So there's you have to look at that as well. So there's a history of people having issues with blood pressure that could be a factor. Yeah. Definitely it could be stress. It can be if you're dealing with anger, right? So that can happen. Anger, the liver corresponds to the emotion of anger. So if people come to me, right, they tell me that they have blood pressure issues. I'm asking how they're feeling, because I also give people as a part of a full consultation what's known as a Bach flower remedy. It's a flower remedy that helps balance your emotions. So if someone's telling me that they're angry, I'm going to check the liver to see if your liver needs support. Because if your liver needs support, it's having a hard time processing foods, particularly proteins. And if your proteins aren't being expelled from your body, your urea levels can be high, and that can cause your heart to work faster than it should. That can elevate your blood pressure as well. So there are some tests that I do that other doctors may not do. And so there'll be some things that I can look at to see what may be causing some blood pressure imbalances as well. So there are a host of things to explore. You can't just say, "Oh, you have high blood pressure, this must be it." No, I'm going to talk to you and see what's going on with you, body, soul, and spirit.
See, and that's the next question, the spirit part. You also incorporate the spiritual health in everything. How do you incorporate that in souldelights.com with the free discovery call?
Yes. So I'll ask you what your spirit connection is. So whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whatever your practices are, I'm going to explore those practices because there are hosts of different studies out there that talks about the power of prayer and meditation, regardless of what your faith is, and the calming effect that it has on the body. So those different practices, reading your Bible, just that spiritual connection helps to bring homeostasis, if you will, balance into the body. And so I'm going to explore those things with you. A lot of times people who don't have that spiritual connection, they look at the here and now, they tend to have more anxiety, they worry more. So we're going to explore those, and whatever faith practice that you say that you have, I'm going to ask you, what does it do for you? That will be incorporated into your recommendations that I give. So yes, if you need some help with anxiety and you know that meditation helps you, I'm going to suggest you go get some meditation, practice meditation in your home, do it with a group, however you practice it, so that it can affect your body and bring things into balance. Yes.
Wow. Wow. You are, I mean, this is such good information, because some of the stuff that you're saying, I just never associated with health. Like,
yes.
Like I do prayer and faith, I do associate that with health. But one thing you said that I didn't give a lot of room to in health is your sleep health.
Oh, yes.
And how well and how much quality you sleep. Can you talk about that a minute?
Oh, yes, for sure. So you definitely need to get enough sleep. If not, your body's stressed out, because sleep is restorative. Your cells are regenerating, so you're getting new cells in the body. So that's what people say, I have to get my beauty sleep. Like, that's a real thing, right? Because you are getting new cells that help regenerate and make you rejuvenated in your body, the way you feel, the way you look. And when you don't get the rest, your body experiences stress. And a lot of times when you have stress, your cortisol spikes. That's the stress hormone. And that can cause you to gain weight. And so it's your body's response to help protect you from a stressful situation. But if you don't get the rest that you need, you continue to find yourself in fight or flight mode. So your adrenal glands are thinking that you're in a fight constantly. There's danger. So your body's constantly under stress, stress. And so the other part of your body, you have the parasympathetic and the parasympathetic system in your body. When you don't have those in balance, your body shuts down, right? So you have the fight or flight area of your body, but then you also have the rest and digest. And so when you're in fight or flight mode, like your body thinks you're constantly fighting a bear, it cannot rest, and your body doesn't digest food. And that's done. Your body's designed to do that so that all the energy that you have in the body can go toward fighting off this danger. Right. So if you're constantly fighting off danger, you're not digesting food. So then you're backed up. Then you're too alkaline. You see what I'm saying? You have this domino effect that's going on in your body.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm also asking that for a friend, because really, because I sleep really well. All I got to get is quiet and still, and I'm done. But and that's why I'm so beautiful. But
I see you.
But this person, I asked her, why don't you sleep? And she said, I don't know. She's up practically all night and have to work. And so, she's I told her I'd ask you about it. And she seems normal. She seems cool. She's never like excitable. But
it could be a number of things. So electronics should be off an hour before you go to bed. No later than 30 minutes. And so lights dim, because the lights are telling your pineal gland that it's daytime, and it's saying, we're awake. You need to start shutting things down. The lights on your phone cause too much stimulation in your body. And so, and then the electronic magnetic fields of the body mess up the electronic magnetic field of your body. So that throws things off. So we are electrical beings. Other electricity throws off our electricity. And I'll give you a prime example. You take things out of the dryer, and you get static cling. So that's a transference of electricity. So that can mess up your body when you're in the bedroom and you're not shutting things down.
Wow.
So to shut things down, it's best to have devices even outside of the bedroom.
Yeah.
Because all of those things can disrupt your sleep pattern. Yeah.
Really? I mean, okay, I can understand what you're saying because I wake up to the alarm on my phone. And so if I get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, I might look at my phone to see what time it is, but that light has made me a little more alert than I want to be.
Yes. So there are all kinds of clocks that you can get that will help with. So you just look at, you can just go to whatever your choice. I don't know about Amazon. Some people are not doing the Amazon thing right now, but you can look up there actually clocks that help you, that they don't have those types of lights to stimulate your mind, but help you to stay asleep. So you may want to look at that. I mean, your phone is definitely convenient, but it can be dangerous to your health.
Yes. So the last one I want to talk about, because this hour has flown by.
It sure has. Oh, wow.
And that's arthritis. My mom was had chronic arthritis, and they sent her home with a bag of medicines. And I have a friend asking for a friend, and she's really good at not diagnosing, but telling me what foods help. And she suggested red cabbage for inflammation.
She's right.
Yeah.
Right. So, she's right.
Yes.
Definitely.
Speak on arthritis and red cabbage, because
anything itis is inflammation. So inflammation definitely can be caused by a whole host of things. But one of the things that I like my go-to for inflammation is oil of oregano. Some people have heard of that. So it's the oil from the oregano plant. Very, very strong, but it's anti just about everything. Viral, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. So that's one of the main things. So again, oregano could be one of those that you would get, but that's the one that I love quite a bit in terms of an oil. Black seed oil is another. Yeah, that's another good one. You have that one.
Yeah, I got that here. Yeah.
As well. Yes. So good fats help as well. So anything with flaxseed, that's a good fat. Avocado.
Okay.
Yes.
You said good fats. Okay, because I was gonna call my fat friend and just hang out with him, but you mean food.
He's a good guy. You funny.
So
and then you want to make sure to get somebody said okra water. So your leafy greens and berries, those help quite a bit. Okay. And so Mona Lisa Luminos says okra water. I hadn't heard that one, but I love okra. So
yeah. And she told me, we were talking the other day, and she told me that the slime of it makes you go to the bathroom, which is a good thing.
Well, it's mucilage, right? Exactly. Yeah. It helps to pull out all the incrustation and such inside your bowels for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, man, I have learned so much in a short amount of time, Rhonda, and I am so grateful that you came on the show to talk about healing your body naturally, because everybody thinks not so naturally nowadays. They don't think that God created this body and then put things on the earth to fix whatever ails. And we need this information out there. Can you tell us again how to contact you, and if someone wants to make an appointment?
Yes, you can go to souldelights.com. I know, Aaron, you have that on the screen. And when you get there, you can go to the Schedule Now button to make a discovery call with me, and use the code free call for a free discovery call. I'm running that through this Friday. So make sure you get that, and then we can talk about how I might be able to serve you better.
And that free call is usually $30, and she is waiving the $30 until this Friday.
Yes.
Okay. And so And I would jump on that sale. Also, on her site, Soul Delights, she has things categorized by, tell me if I'm wrong, things categorized by ailment, and you click on it, and it's only $5.
Yes.
Only $5.
Yes. Primer videos that I started. In case people don't want to make the commitment yet to come see me, there's some information there that you can get started on your journey.
And it's only $5 for information that you can have for a lifetime.
Yes.
And so it's just such a great thing to have, great resource to tap into from great people like Dr. Rhonda J. Smith. And I'm just so honored to know you. I'm so glad we go back like Cadillac seats. And you have always been the one of the most positive people I know. Patty Cake says this has been so helpful. Thank you both.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome, Patty. Yeah. So thank you again, ma'am, for coming on the show. We are going to have if you're willing and if you have time, we got to have you back because we only touched on a few things just to get the appetite wet.
Yes.
But maybe we can go in depth next time, a little bit more in depth.
All right. So, thank you. I'd appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, holistic health practitioner.
You got it. Right.
Rhonda,
or certified doctor of natural health.
Yes.
Yes.
Is available for all your questions at souldelights.com. All right, guys, that's the show for this week. Next week, we have a lady coming on that's going to tell you mamas, y'all need to divorce your sons so they can grow up and be men.
Ooh.
Boom. Can't wait for her to come on. Can't wait for that. But anyway, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Always help somebody in need. All right. Until next week.
Thanks, Aaron.